What's up, everyone? Michigan 1777 here. Lions played the Cowboys today, and I'm just going to break down this video. If you could, please rate, comment, subscribe. And with it, I'll just start with that so we don't have to worry about it later. If you could do that, that'd be great. And like this video, get that all situated, get that out of the way. But yeah, Lions played the Cowboys today. Just going to talk through it. I think the offense actually played pretty well. Jim Bob Cooter called, I think, a good enough game for today. It wasn't the best, obviously, but I think he called a pretty even game. I mean, it was a pretty even distribution of running and passing. The problem is the Cowboys defense is very good this season for the most part. Their run defense especially is very good. And they definitely showed up. After that first run where Carry-On had, 30 yards rushing, they hunkered down and they were very good at containing the run game, basically. And unfortunately, you can only do so much without running the football. I think the offense actually played really, really well today, but they just didn't see the field enough, and that is because the defense could not stop the Cowboys at all. It was very irritating watching this game. I'm sitting here trying to say, it's Matt Patricia's first season. Clearly, they were building more of the offense for the draft, as opposed to being average on both sides of the ball. They wanted to excel on one side, and then on the other side, you can work toward something better, I guess, later on. But we're seeing the defense is struggling, especially that defensive line. There's no pass rush at all. And these past 2 or 3 weeks before that, they were getting pressure because the coverage was great enough. They were all coverage sacks. This week, the pressure was not there and the coverage was good, but they just weren't getting to the quarterback at all. And it gave Dak Prescott the chance to throw the football. And it was just so frustrating to watch because he didn't look flustered. He just looked comfortable in the pocket. The defensive line never even got in there. And, I mean, it's brutal to watch. I'm really a big defensive football kind of guy. I do like watching the offense play. But when the defense doesn't get off the field, your offense loses all of its rhythm because they can't get a 3 and out. So Dallas goes on, 8 to 10 minute drives. And then the offense gets the ball back and they're ice cold because they haven't been on the field. And then that throws off their chemistry. So they need to find a way to work in conjunction and get things all figured out. Because, this isn't going to work. If this defensive front can't get their crap together and get pressure on the quarterback, I don't see how they're going to actually win any games. They will. There's going to be worse teams out there. I'm sure we can win some of the NFC North games, but that defense has to step up. And on top of that, the run defense was so bad. Heck, Ezekiel Elliott had 240 yards on his own between rushing and passing. So if that's any indication of how the defense is playing, that's bad. That is very bad that one guy had 240 yards for the team. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I think the offense, though, overall looked okay. Like I said, it was pretty balanced. I don't think Jim Bob Cooter called a bad game. He just didn't really have a game to call, if that makes sense. There wasn't a lot of time for him to work with. Stafford played well. He ended up at 24 for 30 for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe. So that's not too bad at all. It wasn't Mitch Trubisky today, but, he put us in a position where we could have won. I think putting it on the defense at the end of the game kind of stinks, and I almost think Golden Tate should have went out of bounds on that pass play, but he just decided not to. So, I can say that now. Obviously, in this situation, I wouldn't have. I probably would have ran the ball in too, but Golden Tate played well. All of our receivers played well. I didn't have any problems with them. Marvin Jones had a good game. Golden Tate had a great game. Kenny Golladay, sure-handed as ever, had a great game. Running backs didn't have super great games, but, you can only do so much when the defense is getting through the line. TJ Lang ended up getting hurt today. He was in concussion protocol, it definitely hurt the line a little bit. I actually think he was the leader on the line. It kind of threw off the chemistry for them. There were too many sacks, too many rushes. I think Lawrence, their defensive end, ended up having 3 sacks, so that's not good enough. I don't know if they can take a little bit of pressure off of Stafford maybe by having him roll out, but there were quite a few times in there that he just looks flustered, and there was nowhere he could have gone in a few situations. So I don't know. I think it's going to be this week. They're going to have to really evaluate the tape. I think Matt Patricia will get things all figured out. They play Green Bay next week to open the NFC North. I will be at that game. It should be a lot of fun. I'll be with my Packers friends though, so we'll see how things go. But I'm looking forward to it. I do think we can compete with the Packers. I think we can compete with anyone in the league if they put their mind to it. Problem is like I said, the defensive line has to get going here. I'm going to say this too. These officials today were atrocious, and I hate blaming officials. I really, really, really do hate blaming officials because that is not the reason we lost. But there were a lot of holding penalties that they were not calling, and it was blatant that they were not going to call them. They had no penalties the first half. 0. We had 7 starting into the third quarter. 7 versus 0. If that is not the biggest bullshit I've ever seen on top of that, come on. I know it's Dallas and I know you have favoritism, but dear Lord, call some penalties on these guys because they were holding our defensive linemen at the same time. And that was part of the reason they couldn't get away. I mean, I just see this all the time. It's always the Cowboys, Green Bay, and there was a third team in there. Dallas and Green Bay are automatic too, that they just get away with holding on like every play that I feel like. And that's part of the reason our defensive line can never get through on those teams because they just don't call anything. And they were really flag happy with us. I can tell you that personal foul penalty on Jared Davis, when the quarterback went down, they didn't blow the whistle and he ran up and sacked him. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a penalty, roughing the passer. Are you joking me? You didn't blow the whistle. You didn't have the authority to blow the whistle. And then you call our guy for a penalty, hurting us 15 yards. That is so the NFL, and it's irritating as hell seeing that from a Lions fan because it seems like it's always dumb things like that happen to us. And then Dallas, after one of LeGarrette Blount's runs, they blew the whistle, they keep driving him back and they let go, the one guy shoves him and they don't get a call. No, because it's the Cowboys. So it's hard when you're fighting 3 facets of the game, and I know that it's probably frustrating for the guys on the field too, but not on Dallas. I mean, they're not going to call a penalty on Dallas because they're America's team. Not. But, oh well. All right, I'm done ranting. Hope you have a great evening. Please rate, comment, subscribe once again, and hopefully the Lions will pull off a win here next week. We'll see what happens. Thank you all. Have a great evening.